Welcome, my friends. It's the return of the stack, and who better to bring back? You've got like 2 stacks under your belt, I believe, Mr. Tommy Fresh.
Yeah, I think so. Well, hey, listen, we don't need to talk about what's under my belt. That might make Jordan and Logan a little too happy.
Yeah, they've got a monopoly on, I guess, the tier 4 Patreon OnlyFans exclusive of Thomas Von Freshness and his magical wild ride. But I don't get involved. That's it. That's all.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah. Are you ready, Thomas, to play the stack? Should I refresh you of the rules? I'm going to refresh everybody of the rules. I think that's fair.
I think so.
All right. So we're going to be playing the stack wherein I'm going to be giving Tommy Fresh 9 separate statements. They're going to lay on the stack, and Tommy's going to parse through them to decide whether they resolve, as in, hey, you are absolutely sponge-worthy. Or B, it fizzles, as in I am absolutely an anti-dentite. Do you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I'm ready. I am ready.
All right, let's play the stack. Tommy Fresh, your first statement, as it exists, is Dynasty is the worst Flesh and Blood set to date.
Ooh, God. I don't. That's actually a really tough one, to be honest. I think to date, I'm gonna say resolve. But I don't think it's as bad as we all are saying. It certainly is not on par with whatever else is going on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say fizzle. Everfest, in my opinion, is the worst set that we've ever had. I don't like the art. I don't like what's going on thematically. I don't care about circuses, whatever. And the power level was too lopsided, right? At least in Dynasty, for the most part, everything kind of sucks together. So in Everfest is there is like insane Runeblade cards, and then just some nothingness for a lot of the other classes. So that's where I'm at. So fizzle.
What pulls it out is the fact that everybody is holding hands in unity in their suckage.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Let's suck together. All right.
Okay. That's a Patreon tier 5 exclusive, frankly. All right, here's one for you. Riptide will be the least represented hero at Pro Tour Baltimore.
Ooh. If we were talking the calling, I would say fizzle. But I'm also going to say fizzle for the Pro Tour, I think. Because I have to imagine there's at least some folks that are on it. And I've heard of some folks that are on it. And that being said, my girl, my lovely home piece, my main squeeze, Levia, will probably be the least represented, if I had to guess.
So you're saying that Riptide is going to be more than Bolton or Levia or... Yeah, all right.
I think it might only take 2 Riptides to be more than like Levia and Bolton.
Yeah. So. It might actually just be one. Like, I think that could just be the solo in the field. But it's a great segue that you set me up here for, because the next statement is George Costanza is the shadow brute of Seinfeld. Now, let me frame this for you, because the shadow brute that exists right now is your main squeeze, Levia. And who is more self-wounding and self-sabotaging than George Costanza?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about George is we don't want to be George, but we all are George. And I think the same goes for Levia, because we all make these like compounding mistakes that just lose us the game all the time, like the average player. So I'm gonna say resolve. I think George is definitely Levia.
It has to be. I was actually trying to figure out, I'm like, I wanted to do a whole thing where it's like, okay, what would Kramer be, what would Jerry be, but I was like, this is the most perfect one, because he gets the most irate, he gets the most aggressive, and because in my opinion, Frank Costanza is like the brute.
Yeah.
Estelle is like the shadow kind of aspect. So, and he is just naturally the culmination of both.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it makes total sense. It's kind of hard to say what the other characters would be, but George, definitely Shadow Brute.
All right, here's another one for you. We're looking way ahead now. Worlds will be held in London, Warsaw, or Madrid.
Oh, I'm gonna say Resolve, and I think we might all have it on good authority that it's gonna be in Europe. And I mean, I'm not well versed in where the best place to have an event in Europe, but I feel like Warsaw just sounds like it makes a lot of sense, and that'd be kind of cool. So.
I've been to Warsaw like a half dozen times in my life. It is a beautiful city, and it has a very, very vibrant Flesh and Blood community over there. So hopefully, things are in that region of the world are stabilizing and such. But yeah, they're next door to Newman, as it would be. So, all right, next one for you, my friend. 4 heroes is enough for a Living Legends format.
I would say Resolve. I think that's a totally fine place to start. Now, I don't know how they plan on approaching the Living Legend format, if it's going to be just heroes that hit Living Legend, or it's going to be almost like Eternal format where it's all Living Legend and all existing heroes. But if it was just Living Legend, I think that's totally fine. That's how the game started, 4 heroes. Let's try it out. If it doesn't work out, it's a good experiment. I don't think anybody expects it to be a priority in terms of like competitive play. So for the time being, so Resolve.
Deal. Flesh and Blood needs more dice rolling.
Say big Resolve there. I think I think it's good. I think the gambling aspect, even if it's just a little bit more RNG, not even just the dice. I think a little bit of it creates exciting moments in games. It creates heartbreak. It creates like triumphant moments, especially if you're casting a game, right? Oh my god, I can't believe the 6 rolled or whatever, or they ripped that off the top when it was like 1 of in the deck or something like that. So I think it's a good thing. Obviously, it can be too much. So, maybe just a little bit more, but not too much.
That's fair. Get dice out of my face. From the get-go, you roll them to see who goes first. I was on a nice heater when I was at the calling in, I believe it was Indianapolis? No, it was Charlotte. I think it was Charlotte. Calling in Charlotte. My record for all of those rounds I played was I won 1 dice roll. I rolled that over into the side events, and I lost all my dice rolls. I think I was 1 for like 14 that weekend. Oh my God. Yeah, it was great. And you'd think they're all 50-50s. They're all 50-50s. And I always let my opponent choose because I would, unless they would just right away say even or odd, like, what do you want? I would just say, like, even or odd? They'd be like, yeah. I said, what do you like? And they'd be like, whatever it is. I said, perfect. I'm not even going to look. You can just decide right now. And then that's how it went.
I always like to say, call it, right? I get like that Javier Bardem energy from No Country for Old Men, and just like call it, stare them down. You gotta intimidate them a little bit, even if you aren't playing brute.
It depends where you go. You do see some Javier Bardem haircuts at some of these events, guaranteed. You're like, yeah, you are definitely old country for unshowered men. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, here's another one. Outsiders is the best draft set in Flesh and Blood.
I am going to say, it's only been a couple weeks, but Resolve. It might not end up being that, in the annals of history. Like Welcome to Wraith might still be considered the best, but I think the amount that they're trying out in this set is a positive. And I think it is a good indicator of what's to come. And I hope they continue to like really like take some big swings here and try to keep it knocking out the park. It's not always going to happen, right? But I think Outsiders, yes. Resolve.
I love the closed caption AI is going to have a great time trying to figure out what annals comes out to be.
I mean, hey, listen, AI is bad. I'm telling you.
That's what they want you to say. That you're just an AI generated Tommy Fresh now. You're actually at work.
Yeah.
I just didn't have time. So
I'd start like glitching out over here.
all right, here's one for you. Bravo is the most likely to give you the "it's not you, it's me" routine.
Ooh. No, I'm gonna say fizzle on that one. I'm gonna say fizzle. I think Bravo never even gets to that point, right? I think he kind of is out there. He's having a lot of fun with the folks that he likes to be with, and I don't think he ever gets that serious. I think he's the fun-loving guy. I think Kano is the one that's dropping the "it's not you, it's me," right? Just look at Kano. It's like he's got that smug look already. So it just makes sense.
I feel like that also applies to whose turn it is when you ask him. Whose turn is it, Kano? It's not you, it's me. Like that's guy.
Yeah, no matter what turn it is.
Yeah, it's not you, it's me. That's definitely part of it. Last one, Tommy Fresh. Azalea will win the Pro Tour in Baltimore.
I'm gonna say resolve. Backed by nothing at all. I think that I just think it would be very exciting, and then we can all move on to hating Azalea. Like, it's like, all right, it was the underdog, it wins. Now we can just all unify like together, sinking ships rise, all tides, whatever, as we've said on the show before, and and just say, Azalea, you've had your time. We hate you now.
I love these quotables because I just recorded something with Brendan Patrick yesterday, and his quote was, "It's probably not true," or he's like, no, what did he say? He said, and I quote, this is a Brendan Patrick quote, "I'm probably not right, but it's a fact," or something along those lines. Like, or it's like, "I'm probably not right, but it's a fact." And it's like, okay, is there a more Brendan thing to say? But what did you say? A sinking ship raises all tides. You've said this like ages ago on this show, or we had a conversation.
Yeah, I think it. Oh God, it was one of the round tables that we were all a part of at some point. But yeah, I mean, it's just word diarrhea out of my mouth most times, and there's like phrases that I know, and they get combined, and boom, a T-shirt.
Congratulations on a successful, round of the stack. I do appreciate you coming back, Tommy. You've got a lot of things going on, as far as I know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Always a pleasure and an absolute joy to talk to you, Flake, Mr. Matt DeMarco. I continue to put out episodes of Fresh and Buds, which is my podcast where I have guests, and depending on when this comes out, my show with Tall Timmy was out, and we got some great guests coming up. Elaine Hamontree next week, and going forward to hopefully James White, where I will ask him the hard-hitting questions that I'm known to ask. Also, I have another podcast that I do live on Wednesday evenings, 9:30 Eastern, with my friend Gary. You might know him as the weird Visceri pillow guy. That's called the Bud Rush Bellow. It's live. It's a lot of fun. You can also catch the VOD on YouTube, and check out the YouTube. Been putting out some cool stuff on there as well. Talking about Limited and stuff, and yeah, just grind it. And check out the Buds Discord. It's a great place to be. Very accepting, open to everyone. And yeah, that's it, man.
That's it. That's a lot. What are you talking about? That's it.
Oh, I also work, and and need to feed myself sometimes. So.
Sometimes. Well, you look great. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you everybody for listening to another episode of The Stack.